Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I am coming in here pretty hot after getting my oldest off to her first day of high school. That went by really, really quickly between bringing her home from the hospital 14 years ago to now. Good to be with you. I have asked Matt Davis with Caliber Home Loans to join us this morning to talk about a program that has come back into availability, something that I think is a fantastic offering that we've used quite a bit in the past and has fallen off in let's say the COVID years, but we now have a small window to take advantage of. So without any further delay, Matt, I'd like to clear the stage for you to hop in and chat more about the MCC and how we should be speaking to our network and clients about that opportunity.
Yeah, appreciate it, Rex. So Matt Davis here, been with been in the industry for coming up on 22 years here. So seen a lot over the years, and one of those is the experience I've had with there's an entity that's called Indiana Housing, or IHCDA, Indiana Housing Community Development Authority. So they have a lot of initiatives with different programs for first-time home buyers, even possibly second-time home buyers. But one of them that I worked with a ton over the years was the MCC, or mortgage credit certificates. And actually, Rex, we've had numerous clients together, actually probably quite a few people on this call are in the brokerage. Unfortunately, it went away for a couple of years, and we just noticed not long ago it's back, but only until September 29th to get under contract on the house. But in my opinion, over the years, it's probably the most powerful program for a first-time home buyer. So basically what it is, I guess kind of the 20,000-foot overview, is someone that's a first-time home buyer, which is deemed as hasn't owned a primary residence in the last 3 years, they are eligible to get tax credits back each year they file the house or file their tax returns when they live in the house. And that can be up to $2,000 a year. They get that every single year they live there. So that amount of credit is actually based on a calculation of interest that they pay, and it's a true dollar for dollar credit. So this isn't like a mortgage interest deduction from their tax returns, which we all know, or most of us probably know by now, is that's phased out because the standard deductions have increased so high. So most people are not actually itemizing their mortgage interest. They're not getting that benefit most of the time because they get a little over $13,000 per individual. So because that's not even really a benefit, and even if they were able to take that, they still get these dollar for dollar credits. So it's a true dollar for dollar credit where, let's say if they file their tax returns and they're supposed to get a $2,000 refund that year, they would now get $4,000. So it's literally money that's in their pocket. They can either get it at the end of the year when they file the returns, or they can even change their W-4 withholdings to where they get more money back on their, or from their checks each month, or each paper. So that's that's kind of the high level of it. Rex, any questions on that or any comments? Or you're on mute, I think.
Yep, sure am. What mortgage products are best or applicable for this credit, and what are there any that aren't?
So here's what's great about it too, is because a lot of the first-time home buyer programs are actually like a down payment assistance program, for example. Oh, someone just said they're having a hard time hearing me.
I think we're getting a little echo and a little distance.
Well, that's not good.
I think if you do it in your it really activate the core and project if you were singing unmiked in Gamebridge, that might be our best hope.
I just tried a different one. Is that better?
That actually is better on my end. Yep.
That better? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So a lot of the down payment assistance programs, or actually, so this is not down payment assistance, but a lot of the first-time homebuyer programs are program specific. So, you know, it may be great that someone's able to buy the house, but then there's a lot of negative baggage that comes with it. It could be higher interest rates and so on. This program is actually, you can combine it with, most programs. So for example, you could go ahead and, you know, do a conventional 3% down, conventional 20% down, FHA, USDA, VA, and you can actually add this in combination with it. So it's not limited there. So it's kind of like the analogy that I give. It's like you go to the drive-through and you want to order at number 1 on the menu, and it's, you know, it's conventional 20% down. You can supersize it with the MCC.
So can we walk through an example of how we might use this, maybe some kind of rate buy down around helping someone purchase, you know, their first home? I mean, and the reason I speak to someone purchasing their first home is for the last couple of years, we just haven't been able, we haven't had the market that really gave those buyers a leg up to be able to go in and get in the game. You know, lots of racing around, just getting obliterated by cash or, you know, just stronger offers in general. What can we do there? And what is the, you know, how, I'd love to be able to speak to this in a way that, you know, if we bolt in a few other things here, we're able to position a buyer and bring value in ways that they just aren't aware of, and that really gets them to a greater value for the home that they're seeking.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's the application is what you're asking, right? Like
that's a more succinct way to put that. Absolutely.
How do we like kind of, you know, dumb this down as far as, you know, with our clients? So probably one of the main reasons, you know, probably 2 main reasons, what I've heard from different agents talking with them and what's going on in the marketplace, why buyers aren't buying right now. First time home buyers can't find the house they like. That's part of it. But I think the rate environment is even a bigger part, or home affordability. And so there's been a number of polls that have been done that, you know, like over 70-something% of the buyers, if rates get back down into the upper 5s, or even I think that's now stretching out to probably lower 6s, that clients hey, I'd go buy, you know. And right now, unfortunately, we crossed over that 7 mark again for a lot of the programs. And so it's a matter of, okay, getting them to, you know, what's an opportunity to feel affordable again. So right now, this program with the $2,000 credit, which is going to apply to almost every buyer, because if you buy anything that's going to be in the low 100,000s, the amount of interest is going to equate to that 2,000 credit. Basically, that's going to equal at least 1% off of the rate. If you go ahead and plug in that monthly payment, the principal and interest in both situations, or I guess that credit, if you plug that in, it would equal an interest rate of 1% to over 1.5% lower than what the interest rate they're getting. So that's helping with that affordability, and that's something I break it down. The other is you can do like a temporary buy down along with it. You know, there's some concessions that we can get in the marketplace right now. The other thing is that's great about it is you can actually, they can refinance and still keep their credits.
That's a really important point that I want to make sure that everybody gets in this, is that, you know, this doesn't go away when they refinance the property, that they're able to maintain that credit.
Right. So now you have an opportunity, is that, okay, you know, as we're talking with our clients, you know, what's the objection? Is it because that monthly payment and the rate? Here's a way that, you know, $166 off of that payment, you know, especially if someone's buying a $150,000 to $200,000 house, or I guess a mortgage of 150, 200 range, that's a lot coming off. If you can combine that with a temporary buy down, rates come down as they're supposed to in 2024, you know, and they're going to continue to get those credits. I mean, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of dollars coming off of there. And again, getting that every single year they live in the house.
So is it fair to say, if let's say we dovetail this with, you got a first time home buyer picking up, maybe, let's say it's a $275,000, $300,000 home. We got this credit. We've got maybe a structure, a 210 buy down. Would it be fair to say that, that year one, we're knocking that actual interest rate down from, are we talking 7 to like 4.5? Am I thinking about that right?
It could, yeah. So what I would probably, honestly, what I'd probably recommend though, is because the rates should come down in 24.
Yep.
I think probably a 1.0 buy down is probably going to be sufficient.
Okay.
Would be my recommendation. It's a lot less seller help. So it's really, it's about just over 3/4 of a percent of the loan amount. So for example, if someone's going to get a $200,000 loan amount, that's only about $1,700 in seller help. So maybe get $2,000 and then that takes it down 1% on their rate for the next 12 months. And then the goal would be is to refinance at some point next year. The reason I say if you do the 210 buy down, now you're looking at 3 times as much seller help that you need.
Got it.
And the reality is what it may do then is it's going to push that rate down so far. They probably still get that $2,000 credit. And I'll go ahead and explain how that's calculated. But the thing is, if someone buys it down 2% over the next 12 months, and rates drop 1%, they're going to be, they may not be as apt to go ahead and refinance to a long-term rate that's 1% lower because they're going to feel like they have to go up in rate there for a little while.
Got it.
Yeah.
Couple comments asking to kind of run through explaining the credit one more time. You mind run? I think it was a little hard to hear the first time you were running through that. If you don't mind recapping just the overview of the MCC, I think that might be helpful as we contextualize this.
Yep, and then I'm going to share my screen as well, which will give an illustration of it. So let's see here. All right, let's see if this works. Is that coming over or not?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so just the real quick recap of the high level. What it is, it's if a first-time home buyer and they sign up for this program at the time of purchasing their home, which after they buy the house, if they don't incorporate this at the time of purchasing, the ship sails away, it's forever gone. So it has to be at the time that they buy the house. And behind the scenes, we would go ahead and work with Indiana Housing to have them put in place these this MCC credit, mortgage credit certificates. What it is, they get basically 25% of the mortgage interest that they pay. They get it back every single year on their tax returns. And that's a dollar for dollar credit. So for example, if they were to get a refund of $2,000, they'd now get a refund of $4,000. If they were to owe $2,000, they would now actually not owe anything to the IRS when they file their return. So it's a true dollar for dollar credit, not a write-off or deduction. Then with how that works is pretty simple. So if we look under the MCC example part, and it shows, and this is a little outdated as far as the interest rate plugged in here. I wish rates were at 5.875, but it gives an illustration of showing how low that loan amount, because the maximum is $2,000, but it just shows how easy it is to get to that $2,000 with the higher rates right now. So someone has $135,000 mortgage times 5.875%. You take 25% of that mortgage interest, you're already almost at $2,000.
Got it.
So if we go ahead and plug in today's, so going back to your example, actually Rex is in theory. So if someone, let's say rates were around 7% and they bought that rate down 2% for that first year, bought it down to 5%. Well, now, depending on that loan size, they may not capture that full $2,000 of interest.
Got it. Got it.
And I think that that would be excessive as well, because they should come down in 2024, at least see some moments to where we're going to be able to get relief and do refinances.
Yep. Yep. That's really good. Does anybody have any questions about this? I know we got about 3 minutes left, and yeah, this is a product that we used a lot, pre-COVID, and I love this as a product that, someone has a home for 10 years. We're talking, if you max that out, you're talking $20,000 coming to you from this program. So any questions about this product? Here we go. How do we apply, Matt?
What's that?
How do we apply, and can anyone be qualified?
So you have to be a first-time home buyer. There are income limits. And actually, let me pull this up as well. Here we go. So there are income limits. It's by household size. And actually, let me just kind of go down to, let's say, Marion County. That's probably most of the people on here.
Mhm.
So it depends on how many people are in the household. The left-hand column is 1 to 2 individuals. To the right, that's 3+. Then the acquisition, the price of the home is to the right as far as the limits as well. So that's qualifying income though. So they could actually have above that, depending on, maybe there's commission or bonus or another individual in the household, or, so it's basically the qualifying that we're going to use. And that's something, don't worry about, is, that's a separate conversation we can have. And I get into the weeds with that with the client. So they do have to be a first-time home buyer, meaning not own a primary residence in the last 3 years. They have to be under the qualifying income limits, and that's really it. So, and then as long as applying for other, whether it's FHA, conventional, et cetera.
And Matt, am I correct in that not only for first-time home buyers, but if they have not owned their own home within the last 3 years, and they can have a rental property, but not purchased their own home before or within that time frame? Is that correct?
Yep. That's correct. They just can't be on the deed to a home that they occupied within the last 3 years.
Got it. Excellent.
Investment property that works.
Excellent. Very, very helpful. Matt, we are right up on time here. As we are wrapping this up, the way we apply here is we effectively, there's no necessarily link to apply for this, right? We inform our clients about it. We engage you all and make sure that you're aware that we have a first-time home buyer that's interested in the MCC credit, and there's a deadline here. We have a short window of being able to utilize this, right?
Yeah, so just a few important points before we hop off. So so it's September 29th. It has to be reserved with Indiana Housing.
So under contract and reserved within Indiana Housing on that date. Don't have to be closed per se.
Correct. Yep. And then closed at some point in the latter part of November. We have to deliver it to Indiana Housing, a closed package to them by then. So we only have, we have another 50 days, I guess. So almost 2 months. So my recommendation would be is just to go out to anyone that's a first-time home buyer over the last couple of years that didn't get under contract and say, hey, great news. Last thing you want to do is just kind of keep reaching out to those, people and like, hey, just checking in.
Yeah.
Here's actually a legitimate reason to check in and say, hey, there's this program. It's here for a little bit. It's an opportunity. We can at least see what's out on the market. We get under contract. Here's a way that you get another $2,000 per year you're in the house. So just engage with the first-time home buyers. That's where I can talk with them and screen to see if they qualify, for one. Two is there is another little caveat is this isn't going to be for every first-time home buyer. It's going to be for a majority of them, but there are recapture taxes that could come into play where they could have to give back some of those credits. So, but I go ahead and screen for that as far as it depends on how long they're going to live there, what their income projections are, profitability and so on in the house. Working with the program for over 18 years before COVID, never once had a client call back and say, what the heck was this recapture tax I just got hit with?
Right.
So
it has
that,
to be a pretty set, a pretty detailed set of criteria they have to meet in order to have that recapture exposure.
yeah, the likelihood or the amount that they would have is going to be, maybe they have a little bit, but it's not going to be nearly what the benefits that they get over the time in the house. So, and that's something that I screen for. That's why I haven't had those calls in the past. But yeah, it's really just engage with the first time home buyers, just get them. That's where I can talk with them and screen for it. And then, you know, if they can get in before that time period, it's, you know, another $2,000 a year they're in the house.
That's excellent. Well, this gives us a great arrow in the quiver during a time when we see some good engagement ramp up here, you know, as kids get back in school and we're not in, you know, summer vacation mode. So really appreciate you making time to chat with us about this today. We'll get the flyer out to the community. We'll put set up on the app later on this morning. Matt, I assume anybody can reach out to you or Kyle directly if they have questions.
Absolutely. Yeah, please do.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to this today. I think this is a great product and something that we just don't hear a whole lot about out there. So love it when you guys bring us value like this. Appreciate the help and the partnership, and we'll get on it and be back in touch with any questions we have.